Needs Reads, Spider-Man Crawl Space Edition. Check us out, of course, at the SpidermanCrawlspace.com. Well, everyone, I'm here, of course, to review Amazing Spider-Man 53, aka 947 A Legacy, as we get into the big chapter here before we get the final ends of the Spider that Gobbles, or Spider Goblin, or whatever you want to call this, as we get closer to the end of Zeb Wells' run. So how did everything go here as we go through everything from the artwork, of course, Ed McGuiness and Tom Nauck? Well, let's get into the prose. Well, first of all, we kind of see what the big plan is here, is that Norman Osborn, or the Green Goblin, basically wants to get the sins and personality put into Peter. We actually get some good explanation exactly what the Wrinkler device did. We were kind of getting this weird little feeling like the Wrinkler device was some kind of alternate reality kind of pieces when it was really a brainwash, and what it was to actually wear down Peter's mind so that way the sins would be more area, and he would of course get the different personalities of Norman Osborn as the Green Goblin. It's actually a pretty nice psychosis piece on here, and I also like the fact that we get in more pieces of actually what the plan is, that basically what was supposed to happen was, of course, Norman was going to basically have the Green Goblin persona put into Peter. Peter takes over everything and of course gets the part over here and takes over Oscorp. Basically, it's Superior Spider-Man, but in this case, the Superior Green Goblin is basically what this is kind of go into it. I won't Zeb Wells. Now that we've finally got the pieces and understanding of everything, it's making plenty of sense, and I actually love the artwork in here and actually the use of the character. It feels like we're finally moving to a part here. I also like the little pieces we got with Kraven the Hunter. Believe it or not, Kraven the Hunter is actually what Zeb Wells has been doing well with the character for the last couple of years here. The fact that he's talking about how he has been a clone of the original, even though he's kind of technically the son of Kraven the Hunter, and basically how he did a lot of this honor bomb, but now because of his duties with the Sinister Six and other members, basically he's got to put things that are right and move on with his life. It's a nice little character piece here too. Something that Nick Spencer did really well putting in everything with this new Kraven was trying to separate him, that he just wasn't a complete copy of his father. He had all his personality. He was younger, he was stronger, but also the fact is he learned from his father's memories and personas. And I do like that Wells actually does pretty good here. And also Zeb Wells does a great job with the craziness of the Green Goblin and Norman Osborn. It's actually a good plan. It's kind of nice, and I like how it works on here. That's one thing that's been really well here, is Wells has done a good job with the villains of this. And speaking of that, let's move to the cons. So what are the cons? Well, here's the thing too, is we feel like we're kind of getting rushed to a conclusion. While we finally get answers of exactly what Norman was doing to Peter, how everything was going with it, this is basically a throw off of Superior Spider-Man, but like I said, Superior Green Goblin. All these pieces have been set up here, and then the fact is, like Peter said, as we found out from Miss Marvel, that he never really trusted everything with Norman Osborn, how he made these contingency plans, how he got all set up with the living brain, how Ms. Marvel fit into this, having everything from the clone copies of the security cards, the area, and putting together the different pieces for the walking brain to bring this whole little thing to trap, and then use the sphere to really cleanse everything and keep the sins in Norman, but also stop everything. It feels like now we're kind of getting all these answers in this issue, but at the same time as we're getting a lot thrown at us too, because of course everything gets thrown out of the plan, because of course Rec Rap, our favorite pieces, you know, Ed McGuiness says, I must have Rec Rap or I won't work on Amazing Spider-Man, is technically killed, even though I don't think it is, because he is partially a symbiont demon. So even though it has the traditional stab by the glider in the heart, which is a nod to the original death of the Green Goblin, but basically as Ms. Marvel throws the whole plans out, basically she destroys the walking brain as he's about to reveal what the big grand scheme of things was to lock him to the pit underneath Oscorp, as well as putting all the things for Peter and them to face off. And the fact that it comes down to Kraven the Hunter being the good hero. We don't know what happened to Ben Reilly. J. Jonah Jameson and idiot grad student are kind of knocked to the same. The fact that really Kirk Connors and the Octo harness really didn't have a plan but to distract the Green Goblin while the walking brain got everything set up to trap him in the pit and use the sphere again. When this is all said and done, this is basically is like we're trying to get everything explained and put into, and like I said, it's basically a rip off the Superior Spider-Man, which is something that's really hurt. Zeb Wells has really been basically redoing the same storylines over and over again for the last 3 years. He's also been kind of doing his own spin, like who's the Hobgoblin, the gang war, and now of course here's Superior Spider-Man. We've seen this all before. While the artwork and the flow works pretty nice, and there is actually a piece to it, by the time we get to the big conclusion where Spider-Man and the Green Goblin are about to face off with the Sins want Peter Parker, because you know the Sins are sentient now. It's not split abuse personality that's been a part of Norman Osborn for the last 50, 60 odd years. As JR says, like making it, it's like you're taking a character as Norman Osborn is very complex and very piece onto it, and you're making something very stupid. Yeah, it's not bad, team, but the truth is, it's not a bad issue. I'm actually going to give it a solid B. The storyline works. We're getting the pieces, but as I said, classic cliches such as Wreck Rap getting the glider in his chest, the fact that Miss Marvel kind of loses it, gets angry, and just tries to blow everything up before the Rocking Brain's about to do it. Also, we didn't get the 100% final piece for all this to work at. Really is kind of destroyed before they're about to reveal it at the end of the issue. I'm just looking forward to the storyline being over. It's not been a bad storyline, but we're to the point now where this just needs to come to an end and we need to clean everything up and, as I say, put everything back in the toy box. So it gets a B from me. It's not bad, but honestly, I feel like we're just retreading the Superior Spider-Man and Green Goblin for. And really, everybody, that's all I've got to say actually here for this week. Simple and sweet here, of course. I hope everybody is having a wonderful summer here as we get into the middles of the time here. I'll be, of course, back here in a couple weeks to review, of course, Ultimate Spider-Man and Shadow of the Green Goblin conclusion. So if you want to know more, of course, check out our various social medias. And, of course, head to the website at spidermancrawlspace.com. Check out our podcast, including our YouTube shorts, as well as some of our other pieces, and subscribe to our Patreon if you think of getting some exclusive pieces before they're out. And on that note, everybody, I'll see everybody later on the Crawl Space.